Hello and welcome to this James the Bike Guy, where today we're getting the chance to take a look at a really lightweight carbon road bike from Specialized, but we're checking out the least expensive format. Now, this bike is not inexpensive by any means, but it's the least expensive way to get into their absolutely legendary Specialized Aethos. The Aethos is a lightweight road bike with lots of performance, and in this video we're going to go into the features and designs of this sleek looking bike, figure out what it's all about, and then of course we're going to find out exactly what it weighs. So if this kind of thing is interesting to you, I suggest just stick around while we check out this Specialized Aethos. So the Specialized Aethos is a new bike within Specialized lineup as of very recently, where they've added this bike in to go along with their two other dedicated road bikes. So Specialized on the fast end side of things have their Tarmac SL7, which is an aero race bike. It's got lots of lightweight and performance features, but focuses on just as much speed as possible. And then Specialized also has their Diverge, which is a endurance, comfortable road bike with lots of different features to help make it more comfortable for long rides. And that's where this Aethos begins to come in. So the Specialized Aethos is their new entry into the lightweight carbon road bike segment. So many bikes, once they started getting disc brakes and getting lots more features like additional tire clearance and things like that, they started to bake out some of the lightweight in exchange for even more comfort and even more capability. Now, that's awesome and all, but there's something to be said for a bike that is just absolutely lightweight, super clean, not a whole bunch of extra features that weigh down and complicate the bike. And so Specialized saw this opportunity and brought out the Aethos. And another neat thing about this particular Aethos that I really enjoy is just the clean look to it. So it's back to traditional round tubing, which I'm sure some of you will think doesn't look nearly as cool or as fast as some of the other bikes out there, and you'd be right. But there's a classic look to round tubing and minimalized branding just seen on the top tube there, and then the Aethos name on the head tube. And I think that really helps this bike be nice and clean, go back to the ethos of the bike being lightweight, simple, and a nice thing about this whole setup is it ends up riding really well as well. Because of the standardized tubing, it's just lightweight, nimble, it's got a snappy handling to it for somebody who wants a high-end bike that's clean and simple. Diving into the frame set on this Aethos, we should talk both about the construction of the frame as well as where it falls in Specialized lineup. So first off, this bike is made out of what they call their Fact 10R carbon. Now 10R carbon means that this is below the S-Works variant. Now on the channel, I've taken a look at the S-Works version of the frame, which is their 12R carbon frame. I've got a link to that down in the description below. And then I've also taken a look at the Pro variant of this bike, which is the highest end spec that you can get with the 10R frame. This version we've got here is the comp level bike, which means it's the most affordable spec, although not a cheap bike, but a more affordable spec than the Pro. And it gets the exact same frame as what you get on the Pro. So going through the bike, Specialized says that this frame has no lazy fibers. They claim to have used a lot of finite element analysis to find out where they could take weight away, make the bike more streamlined, and that means that even the air quote heavier frame comes in with a claimed weight of 699 grams. Now this frame uses a standard 27.2 seat post, which is nice to see, a threaded bottom bracket. You go through these nice thin chain stays and seat stays to 12 by 142 millimeter through axle out back. And then as we go forward, it's going to have their rider first technology, which means all the tubing shape is designed around the frame size, this being a 49. So it's got a tapered head tube based on frame size down to this carbon fiber Fact fork. Carbon Fact fork, of course, is flat mount disc, just like the back, with a through axle 12 by 100 millimeter up front. Now, a few things to mention about this bike. So this variant is going to be a fully wireless drivetrain, and you can see that it's got little covers, although you could set this up with Di2 or whatever you might want to. But this frame is designed around electronic only shifting. So there's no spot to be able to run a mechanical cable. Although if you have a Di2 system from Shimano, you can see underneath here, there's definitely spots to be able to pull out the cables for the Di2 shifting. But with the SRAM drivetrain we'll get into a bit, all wireless for a super, super clean look. Last thing to talk about before we move on is going to be the geometry. And this being a performance bike, this is not going to be anywhere near as upright as the Roubaix, although it's a little more relaxed than their Tarmac race bike. So this in a size 56 would come out with a stack of 565 millimeters and a reach of 395 millimeters. To put that in perspective, your tarmac is both lower and longer at 555 millimeters of stack and 398 millimeters of reach, but the Roubaix is significantly more upright at 605 millimeters of stack and 384 millimeters of reach, making it a much shorter and higher reach to the handlebar. And why those numbers matter is that essentially is going to be your position on the bike. So with a road bike, stack and reach really indicate where you're going to fall in the fit of the bike. And so this is on the more performance side of things. It's lighter weight. That all makes sense, but it's going to save you a little bit of position over the tarmac race bike, which is something to keep in mind if you love the feel of a snappy race bike, but want just a slightly more relaxed position. Now, hopefully you're having fun taking a look at this bike with me. And if you are, be sure to hit the subscribe button to the channel and definitely check out James the Bike Guy on Instagram, all one word in Instagram, and I'd love to see you there. Now, diving into the drivetrain on this comp level, this is where we're going to see the SRAM Rival drivetrain. So this is a wireless drivetrain, and to put in perspective, the Pro version, which is considerably more expensive, about 67% more, also has a wireless drivetrain just in the Force level. So this being Rival from SRAM is essentially a Shimano 105 level, although it's totally wireless. So you can see here, the shifters wirelessly connect to the rear. They, of course, operate hydraulic disc brakes on the front and the rear with 2 piston calipers. But the paddle shifting is pretty neat because you can click on the inside here and it's going to shift it down to harder gear out back. Click the left side, shifts to an easier gear, and click both and it'll shift the front chainring. Now, in the back, this is a 12-speed drivetrain going through the SRAM Rival rear derailleur. And this rear derailleur is an AXS derailleur, so 12-speed only. It does operate a hydraulic clutch inside to help keep things nice and quiet. And you'll see the chain itself has a flat top to it going back to this 10 to 36 tooth rear cassette. So 10 tooth there, 36 up back in a 12-speed drivetrain, and it goes forward to a 48-35 combo. Now, I won't be surprised if you're not familiar with this combo, and that's because this is set up just for the 12-speed drivetrain. So if you look just above, you'll see that the top speed and the minimum speed out of a 90 RPM cadence is very similar to what you'd get out of a traditional 2x11, but you're going to get additional steps in between and some low-end capacity added. The front derailleur, of course, is shifted via this Rival front derailleur, and both of these are going to offer replaceable batteries, which are pretty cool because front and rear derailleurs use the same battery, which makes it simple to charge and easy to carry a spare with you so that it minimizes any anxiety on a big ride. Dialing into the handlebar setup here, we've got a Specialized alloy handlebar, made it up with Specialized own alloy stem. This bar and stem combo is fairly lightweight for a road bike. It does have a short reach and a medium drop, and then going out back is a power saddle from Body Geometry. This is a truncated nose saddle, nice cutout for blood flow downstairs, and then you've got it mounted up on an Alpinist carbon fiber seat post. This is a super lightweight 27.2 millimeter diameter seat post, and it operates with 2-bolt adjustment to be able to get the positioning just right for the saddle angle. Last thing to talk about here are going to be some DT Swiss R470 rims laced up with J-bend spokes to through axle hubs, both on the front as well as the rear. And then tire wise, we're rocking some Specialized Turbo Pro tires. These tires are going to be 700 by 26 millimeters with a frame tire clearance of up to 30 millimeters. The actual weight of the Aethos comp comes in and weighs 17.20 pounds, which is 1.2 pounds heavier than the Aethos Pro at 67% more expensive. Thanks for joining me and checking out this 2022 Specialized Aethos comp. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think about this bike, and would you see yourself having an awesome time adventuring on it? Well, thanks again, and can't wait to see you in the next video.